but I watched him collapse. Right there, in the middle of my own promotion party, surrounded by our colleagues and friends. Derek's face went pale, then grey. His hand shot to his throat. The champagne flute he'd been holding shattered on the marble floor. Everyone froze. Someone screamed. And I just stood there, staring at the coffee cup still sitting on the bar where he'd left it 30 minutes ago, the cup I'd switched with mine. Let me back up. My name is Elena Martinez, and 3 months ago, I had everything. At 36, I was the youngest vice president of marketing at Whitmore & Associates in Boston. I'd worked my way up from an entry-level coordinator, survived 3 corporate restructurings, and finally cracked the executive team. Derek, my husband of 8 years, worked in finance at a smaller firm downtown. We had a beautiful brownstone in Back Bay, no kids yet but planning, and what I thought was a solid marriage. I was wrong about that last part. It started small. In early March, I began feeling off. Nothing dramatic, just exhausted all the time. I'd wake up feeling like I hadn't slept at all. My hands would shake during presentations. I blamed it on stress from the VP promotion I was up for. The competition was intense, particularly with Amanda Brooks, who'd been with the company 2 years longer than me and made no secret of wanting that position. Derek was supportive, or so I thought. He'd bring me coffee every morning, already prepared the way I liked it, heavy cream, 2 sugars. "You need to take care of yourself, babe," he'd say, kissing my forehead. "You're working too hard." By April, the symptoms got worse. I started losing weight without trying. My hair began falling out in the shower, just a little at first, then more. I'd wake up nauseous. My doctor ran tests, but found nothing definitive. "Probably stress," she said. "Maybe early onset of an autoimmune condition. Let's monitor it." I noticed Derek had become very interested in my schedule. Every morning over that coffee, he'd ask detailed questions. "What time is your meeting with the CEO? When will you be home? Are you having lunch at the office today?" I thought he was being attentive, concerned about my health. Amanda started acting strange too. She'd gotten friendlier, which was unusual. We'd never been close, despite working together for 6 years. Suddenly, she wanted to grab drinks after work, asked about my weekend plans, seemed genuinely interested in my life. I remember thinking maybe I'd misjudged her. The promotion was announced on April 15th. I got it. The official start date was set for June 1st, with a celebration party planned for May 20th. Derek's reaction was muted. "That's great, Elle," he said, but his smile didn't reach his eyes. "More money, I guess." "It's not about the money," I said. "It's about finally being recognized for my work." "Right, your work." He turned away, staring at his laptop screen. "While I'm still stuck at Henderson and Price, making $70K a year, that stung. We'd always agreed that we were a team, that my success was our success. But lately, I'd sensed resentment building. Little comments about how I was always at the office, how I cared more about my career than our marriage, how he felt like a house husband sometimes. In early May, things got worse. I started having trouble concentrating. I'd be in the middle of a sentence and forget what I was saying. My hands trembled so badly I could barely type. One morning, I threw up 3 times before 9 a.m. That's when I noticed something odd. Derek had left his laptop open in the living room. Something he never did. He was fanatical about closing it, even when he just went to the bathroom. But that morning, he'd rushed out to a supposed breakfast meeting and left it right there on the coffee table. I shouldn't have looked, but something made me. Maybe it was the way he'd been acting. Maybe it was how sick I'd been feeling. Maybe it was intuition. I opened the browser history. The searches made my blood run cold. Thallium poisoning symptoms. How long does thallium take to kill? Undetectable poisons. How to avoid getting caught for poisoning. Thallium in coffee taste. Life insurance payout murder investigation. The searches went back 3 months, right around when I started feeling sick. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely scroll. There was more. He'd been on forums, asking questions anonymously. If someone dies from long-term low-dose poisoning, would it look like natural causes? How do life insurance companies investigate suspicious deaths? I felt like I was going to pass out. This couldn't be real. Derek? My husband? The man I'd been with for 8 years? Then I saw the emails. They weren't in his main inbox, but in a folder labeled Projects. He'd been communicating with someone. The email address was generic, a Gmail account, a Brooks2891. Amanda Brooks. I opened the thread with shaking hands. Derek. She's definitely getting sicker. Hair loss started this week. Amanda. Good. Stick to the schedule. Small doses. We can't rush this. Derek. The promotion party is May 20th. That's when we do it. Final dose in her coffee at the party. Everyone will think it's a heart attack or stroke from stress. Amanda, what about the life insurance? Derek, 2 million. I'm the beneficiary. Once she's gone and the payout comes through, we can finally be together. No more hiding. I slammed the laptop shut and ran to the bathroom. I threw up until there was nothing left. They were having an affair. They were poisoning me. They were going to kill me at my own promotion party. I should have gone to the police right then. That's what everyone says afterward. But I couldn't think straight. I was terrified, sick, and my mind was racing. What if the police didn't believe me? What if Derek found out I knew and accelerated his plan? What if I went to the station and he deleted everything while I was gone? I needed evidence. Concrete, undeniable proof. I called in sick to work, which wasn't hard since I actually felt terrible. Then I drove to a tech store in Cambridge, paid cash for a home security system with hidden cameras, the kind that looks like everyday objects. A clock, a picture frame, a charging station. Over the next 2 days, while Derek was at work, I installed them. One in the kitchen, focused on the coffee maker, one in the living room, one in our bedroom, all connected to a cloud account Derek knew nothing about, recording to a server he couldn't access. I also bought a small voice recorder and started keeping it in my pocket. The morning of May 18th, 2 days before the party, I pretended everything was normal. Derek brought me my coffee, just like always. "How are you feeling?" he asked, his voice dripping with fake concern. "Still pretty rough," I said. I'd learned that playing sick kept him happy, but I'm pushing through for the party. It means too much to miss. "Maybe you should skip it," he said. "You really don't look good, Elle." "I'll be fine." I took the coffee cup from him. "Thanks for this." He smiled. "Anything for you, babe." The moment he left for work, I poured the coffee down the drain. I'd been doing this for days now, since I found the searches, pretending to drink it, then dumping it. I felt better almost immediately once I stopped actually consuming it. That afternoon, my Alexa speaker in the living room sent me a notification. It had picked up voices and started recording. We'd set it up months ago to do this when we were worried about a possible break-in, but we'd mostly forgotten about it. I pulled up the app on my phone. Derek's voice. "Are you sure about this?" Amanda's voice. "Derek, we've been over this 1,000 times. You said you wanted out. You said you loved me." "I do love you. But actually killing her. She's already half dead from the doses you've been giving her. 2 more days, and it'll be over. You give her the final dose at the party. She collapses. Everyone thinks it's medical. And we're free. Free to be together. Free to use her money to live the life we deserve. What if someone suspects? No one will. You've been the devoted husband, so concerned about her health. I've been the sympathetic colleague. We've covered our tracks. The thallium won't show up on a standard autopsy. By the time anyone thinks to look deeper, it'll be too late to prove anything. And the life insurance? You wait 6 months, act appropriately grieving, then we can start being seen together publicly. A year later, we get married. No one will question it. There was a pause. "I can't believe I'm doing this," Derek said. "You're doing it because you deserve better than being Mr. Elena Martinez. You're doing it because she emasculated you for years. You're doing it for us." I saved the recording. I now had everything. The searches, the emails, the recorded conversation. But I still didn't go to the police. I should have. I know that now. But I was scared. I was angry, and I wanted them to face consequences in a way that felt proportional. The morning of May 20th, the day of my promotion party, Derek was almost giddy. He brought me coffee as usual, but this time I noticed his hands were shaking as he handed it to me. "Big day," he said. "Yeah." I took the cup, made a show of taking a sip while he watched. The moment he left the room, I spit it into a napkin. The party was at 6 p.m. at the Liberty Hotel. a gorgeous converted jail that the company loved for events. Open bar, catered food, everyone from work would be there, including Amanda. I arrived early and positioned myself at the bar. I'd brought a travel mug with regular coffee from home. Derek arrived at 6:30, Amanda a few minutes later. They didn't acknowledge each other, but I saw them exchange a glance. Derek walked up to me with a cup of coffee from the bar. "Hey, babe. Got you a coffee. Figured you'd need the energy for all the congratulations." "Thanks." I took it, held it. People started surrounding me, congratulating me, asking about my new role. Derek stepped away to talk to some people he knew from previous company events. He kept glancing at me, watching to see if I was drinking the coffee. I saw Amanda walk over to him. They moved to a quiet corner. I had my phone in my pocket, recording. "Did she drink it?" Amanda's voice, barely audible over the party noise. "Not yet. She's talking to people. She needs to drink it soon. We timed this for 7 p.m. That's when the dose will hit hardest." "I know. Make her drink it, Derek." I watched them separate. Derek started walking back toward me. That's when I made my move. I walked over to where he'd been standing, near a high-top table. I accidentally bumped into someone, stumbled, and both coffee cups sloshed. In the confusion, I switched them. Mine, the safe one from the bar, went to him. His, the poisoned one, stayed on the table where I picked it back up. Derek came back. "You okay?" "Yeah, just clumsy." I gestured to the cup on the table. "Is this yours or mine?" "That's yours," he said, pointing to the one I was holding. "Mine's right there." He picked up the cup that was actually mine, the safe one. "Oh, right." We stood there, in the crowd. He raised his cup. "To your success." I raised mine. "To us." We drank. I only took a small sip, then put my cup down and moved away to talk to my boss. Derek, I noticed, drank most of his. He was nervous, eager to look normal. Over the next 30 minutes, he finished the entire cup. At 7:15 p.m., I saw him lean against the bar. His face looked pale. At 7:25 p.m., he was sweating. At 7:30 p.m., he stumbled. People noticed. Someone asked if he was okay. "I don't feel good," he said. "Elena, That's when he collapsed. Everything after that was chaos. Someone called 911. Paramedics arrived. They rushed him to Mass General. I rode in the ambulance, playing the terrified wife. Inside, I felt nothing but cold calculation. At the hospital, they worked on him for 40 minutes, but he was already gone. The dose he'd meant for me, the final dose designed to kill, had done exactly that. A doctor came out to tell me. I cried, I screamed, I played the part. Amanda was there too, having rushed to the hospital. She looked genuinely shocked, which almost made me laugh. The police came the next day. Detective Sarah Morrison, Homicide Division. They'd found evidence of poisoning. Thallium in his system. Lethal levels. "Mrs. Walsh, I need to ask you some questions." "Of course. Anything." "Did your husband have any enemies? Anyone who would want to hurt him?" I should have told her everything right then. But I didn't. "No," I said. Everyone loved Derek. "What about his recent behavior? Anything unusual?" "He'd been stressed about work, but nothing that would. I don't understand. Who would poison him?" They investigated. They found the thallium source, a purchase traced to Derek's credit card. Detective Morrison came back to me 3 days later. "Mrs. Walsh, I need to show you something." She laid out the evidence, the searches, the emails, the affair, the plan to kill me. "Did you know about any of this?" This is where I made my second mistake. I should have told the truth, but I was terrified that if I admitted I knew, if I admitted I'd switched the cups intentionally, they'd charge me with murder. "No," I said. "I had no idea. Your husband and Amanda Brooks were planning to poison you. The coffee at the party was meant for you." "What?" "Somehow, the cups got switched. He drank the poison meant for you. I let her believe it was an accident, a tragic twist of fate, karma even. But they kept investigating. They pulled security footage from the hotel. They interviewed everyone at the party. And someone, I don't even remember who, mentioned seeing me stumble and the cups getting mixed up." Detective Morrison came back. This time, her expression was different. "Mrs. Walsh, I'm going to ask you this once, and I need you to tell me the truth. Did you know that coffee was poisoned before you switched the cups?" I could have lied again. but looking at her face, I knew she already knew. Yes. How did you know? I told her everything. The searches I'd found, the cameras I'd installed, the Alexa recording, the emails. I gave her access to all of it. Why didn't you come to us? I was scared. I was sick. I wasn't thinking clearly. I know I should have. So you deliberately switched the cups, knowing one was poisoned? Yes, but it was self-defense. He was going to kill me that night. Mrs. Walsh, self-defense requires imminent threat. You had days to come to us. You had evidence. Instead, you orchestrated a situation where your husband would drink poison you knew was meant for you. That's not self-defense. That's premeditated. My lawyer, Richard Chen, advised me not to say anything else, but the damage was done. The DA's office debated for weeks whether to charge me. The evidence was complicated. Yes, Derek had been poisoning me. Yes, he'd planned to kill me. Yes, I had proof. But I'd also known about the final dose and deliberately caused him to consume it. In the end, they didn't charge me with murder. My lawyer argued successfully that I'd been mentally compromised by months of poisoning, that I'd acted in a state of fear and diminished capacity, and that the evidence of Derek's intent was overwhelming. But they did charge Amanda Brooks. She was arrested on conspiracy to commit murder. The emails, the Alexa recording, everything pointed to her as an active participant in the plan to kill me. Her trial was brutal. I had to testify, had to relive all of it. The defense tried to paint me as a manipulative woman who'd somehow framed both Derek and Amanda, but the evidence was too strong. The searches on Derek's computer, the emails, the recording of their conversation, the thallium purchase, his medical records showing he'd been dosing my coffee for months. She was convicted. 20 years to life. The aftermath was messy. The life insurance company investigated and ultimately denied the claim due to the circumstances. Derek's family blamed me. Said I'd driven him to it with my ambition. Some people at work whispered that I'd gotten away with murder. I took a leave of absence from Whitmore and Associates and eventually resigned. I moved out of Boston, away from the memories. I'm in Portland now, working remotely for a tech startup. I've been in therapy for 9 months, dealing with the PTSD, the trust issues, the guilt, because yes, I feel guilty. Not for Derek's death, exactly. He made his choice when he put poison in my coffee, day after day. But for not going to the police, for taking matters into my own hands, for playing God in a situation where I should have trusted the system. Detective Morrison told me something before I left Boston. You survived, she said. A lot of people in your situation don't. You did what you thought you had to do to stay alive. I can't say it was right, but I understand it. I think about that a lot. About the difference between legal and right, between justice and revenge, between victim and perpetrator. I think about how one decision, made in fear and anger, can change everything. I also think about warning signs I missed. Derek's resentment about my career didn't start when I got the VP position. It had been building for years, hidden under smiles and supportive words. Amanda's sudden friendliness wasn't genuine interest. It was reconnaissance. The symptoms I dismissed as stress were literally poison accumulating in my system. What would you do if you discovered your own spouse was trying to kill you? Would you go to the police? Would you run? Would you fight back? I switched the cups. Derek drank poison meant for me. And 30 minutes later, my life changed forever. I'm not proud of what I did. But I'm alive to feel that guilt. And some days, that has to be enough.